the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Receivers, and this time he lost one and it's picked off.
And Brady and Moss hook off great football players, showing why they're great.
He's got it. 20, 10. He's got it. End zone. Touchdown Titans.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody, and I hope your holidays went well and everybody got through it okay. And now it's time to get ready for the off season in fantasy football. We got the NFL playoffs coming up with a lot of excitement in some of these matchups. We got college football playoffs happening and got some upsets. And some teams that weren't expected to even be in the playoffs for college in the playoffs and making it interesting. So we're going to get into it tonight. We got a few things. We got a few announcements to make, some changes that are going on with Inner Circle and DFS Advisor. So some exciting things happening. I want to send a shout out to a coworker's family of mine. A coworker passed away just before the holidays, and Junior's family, they got some kids, and it was not necessarily unexpected. It went a lot faster. A gentleman had cancer, a good friend of ours and coworker passed away. So our hearts are going out to Junior's family, and hope you guys are doing good. Always want to start the show out by thanking our sponsors. Want to thank Premier Properties, Steve and Nikki. Thanks for everything you guys do. The Freaky Tiki, local party boat here in town in Hernando Beach. If you guys got nothing to do on a weekend, it's a great time to go out and catch a sunset, go out and do a little drinking, turn the music up, hang out with some friends, and some of the best sunsets you'll ever see down here in Hernando Beach. Selective Truck Brokers, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Want to thank you guys. It's kind of a flashback thing for me with them. They're helping sponsor our Friday night show with the truck drivers, bringing sports to them on the road. Guys have been dealing with a lot of bad weather out west, a lot of snow up north, a lot of high winds. I know last week there was some guys shut down out at Donner Pass that had a chance to chat with them for a while, where they were shut down waiting for the mountain to open back up. So I guess that kind of covers that. And then we're going to jump into some of these coaching availability in the NFL. I think the big surprise was definitely the John Harbaugh firing. Was it a firing, or did he walk away? I think there's some mixed signals being sent. There's some mixed stories being put out there. There's some rumors being put out there that he was kind of given an ultimatum, and he stuck by his man, which is hard to do in today's world. You don't find very loyal people in this world today, whether it be coworkers, friends, acquaintances. Loyalty is a very cherished thing, and I give John Harbaugh some kudos for being loyal to his man, Todd Monken, for the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. They wanted to make some changes. The whole story hasn't come out, but got some insider people talking about it down here in Tampa, and kind of sounding that that's the way it was. He was kind of getting an ultimatum, and he decided to not take their ultimatum. So hats off to Harbaugh, where he lands. Nobody knows at this point. They claim within 45 minutes he had 7 job offers where NFL teams contacted his agent, manager. And so I'm sure he'll find a home. I'd like to see him go to the Giants, to be honest with you. I think it would give him a breath of fresh air to coach some youth. I don't think he's, as youth-friendly, college player, young player friendly as his brother is Jim, but different. I think it would give him a breath of fresh air. I don't really see another team that he would probably be interested in. Maybe the Miami Dolphins. I don't know. There's some rumors floating around about that, but they still have McDaniels down there, so I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But it's always a fun time of year to see some of these coaches get hacked, and the Atlanta job. I think is kind of cool. I don't know, there's a lot of talk about Matt Ryan. I don't necessarily think Matt Ryan's going to be the coach up there, but I think he may end up in the front office for sure. So some of these landing spots for coaches is going to be fun to watch. Availability is, as far as who's available, who's not available. Some offensive coordinators moving around, a quick second back to the Harbaugh thing before I move on to the offensive coordinators. This dude has been coaching, 18 years now? Okay. One thing I think is that, he's 63 years old. Is the chance that he retires? Maybe. But I think the way that this all went down really leads me to believe he's not going to retire. There was some talk today about retirement, but I honestly think he's got something to prove with the way this all went down. I think there's some Lamar Jackson ghosts in the background on this too. And so I think John's going to stay in the NFL, and I think he's going to prove a point, and I think he's going to go to a competitive team. Let's face it, he's probably the highest sought out replacement, new hire coach. So he's going to be able to pretty much name his game. And some of these other teams that were getting ready to make a decision, I think they're going to maybe hold up a little bit, and we'll see who wins this battle for John. So I just wanted to touch on the retirement thing, because there's been a lot of people talking about 18 years in the league is enough, and that he should possibly really think about retiring. I don't think this cat's ready for retirement. That's just my opinion on that. This one here, offensive coordinator wise, really, really excites me. I never been a real big Kingsbury fan, but with the Commanders, in the way this one went down, it was almost an agreement of parting ways. I think there's going to be some things come out in this. I think it was more done because he has a good head coaching job. So we'll see. There may be some other issues with the Commanders and with him. They definitely shook things up out there in D.C. So, Dan Quinn's going to have to get his poop in a group and get after it, get him an offensive coordinator out there. But this is another one that I think may be looking for a head coaching job. This was another one that I thought would be a good fit for the Giants as a head coach, just because of the aggressiveness of Dart. You got Neighbors, you got Scattaboo. It's kind of a high octane look to its offense, which is right up Kingsbury's alley. I don't really look for him to go to the Raiders would be a good fit for him also. I'd like to see him maybe possibly end up out at the Raiders with Pete Carroll getting fired and the Raiders moving on from him. And, I can't help but laugh at the money that's being paid out. I think I heard something the other day. The Raiders got like $50 million between John Gruden, all the past coaches that are still on their payroll getting paid contract money. It just blows my mind that some of these coaches are getting paid doing nothing, and how they allow it to happen. It would just seem like they try to keep that money in-house instead of giving these guys these contracts and moving on. But just goes to show you how much money's in the NFL, how much money's in these teams, and how much people are willing to spend to win. And so we'll see where it goes. I'm excited about the Kingsbury thing. This came out today here in town in Tampa. Todd Bowles keeps his job. The Glazers elected to give him another year. He just renewed this last year, 3-year contract. So with them giving him next year to coach, he'll have 2 years on his contract for next year at the end of the year. If this guy, I don't know. This town is in an uproar with the way the Bucs started out, and all the injuries, we all know about it. You know, all the hype talk about Mayfield being MVP candidate, and the way this team started out, everybody was excited, including me. I had high expectations for Baker. I had high expectations for Mbuka. Shit, I even went before Evans got hurt, I went out and said, we were going to have 3 1,000-yard receivers this year. Baker was going to throw for pushing 5,000 yards, and it just didn't happen. And it was a catastrophic, hurricane devastated mess down here in Tampa with our football team. They started out 5-1, 6-2, and then just after the bye, this team fell so flat. And that week after the bye is what is being talked about most in Tampa Bay right now. That why were they flat? Why did they come out so bad, playing so poorly? And, a lot of guys said, well, this bye will be good for them injury-wise. It's going to give a chance for all these guys to get healthy. Well, come to find out, they took that whole week literally off. Todd Bowles, no practice. They didn't do a walkthrough till the end of the bye. And I've been in that locker room. I've been in the open locker room. I've talked to players. I have been in media meetings with guys that have a lot of knowledge, or guys that have a lot of years at Tampa Bay. And it's not a great locker room right now. Okay. One of the big changes I think you're going to see is Rashid White is going to be gone. Okay. I'm telling you that right now. My contacts are telling me he's really wanting to play for the Redskins. He wants to go to Washington. If you look at some of those rumors that are flying around down here, why are they flying around? There's been some social media things he's done. There's been some just places he's been, and people have heard him talk. He's had posts on social media with local media people. And let's not forget, he's pretty good friends with the quarterback of the Redskins. So he's kind of put some things out there in public, leading the public to believe that's where he would like to go. He will not be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer next year. But back to the Bulls thing, I think the Glazers and the Tampa Bay Bucs made a big mistake. I think they needed to let this guy go. Their offensive coordinator is garbage. Their special teams coach is junk. He'll be the first one let go. And look for some changes, because I think what happened yesterday and early today in Tampa Bay is he was given, maybe an ultimatum like Harbaugh got. He was given the choice to say, what changes are you going to make? And I think he knew from a fan standpoint that nobody wanted him in Tampa Bay. They wanted him out. Even long time talking heads in Tampa Bay think that Todd Bowles needs to go. So my side of that is I would have liked to seen him go. I'd like to see him get a little bit more offensive minded. Their defense is trash. They have to address if Jason Light does not address the defense in this draft, we'll be right back in the same boat we were in last year. I don't care who you draft offensively. It would not make a difference. They need to address the defense. They got to get a pass rusher. If Max Crosby's on the market, I'd be giving up 26 first and a 27 first for him and shore up and give them some pass rush because that's what they need. Our defensive backs cannot hold a candle to a quarterback that's got time. So in order for the Bucs to succeed next year, they definitely got to address the draft from a defensive standpoint. That's my take on that. So would have liked to seen him gone. He's a nice guy to talk to him. He's a nice guy to talk to. I think his days are over. I think he was a better defensive coordinator than he was a head coach. So we'll see how it all plays out. The Glazers are giving him one more chance. So we'll see how that ends up in the offseason. Some of the things that are happening in college football, this transfer portal, the college pregame guys talked about a little bit. Nick Saban made some very good points last week. This transfer portal's got to be changed. To me, they're ruining the college football environment, the playoff environment. They are letting these guys transfer during bowl games, during playoff games. And to me, it's wrong. Okay. Now, do I think these guys the NIL should give these guys a chance to make money? Yes. Do I think they should have a chance to go where they want to go and transfer? Yes. But not during a chance that is a lifetime. Okay. A lot of these guys on these playoff teams, championship teams, aren't going to go to the NFL. They won't make it. Okay. But however, they are blessed enough to play on a championship football team. In some of those memories, winning a championship in college football means everything to an offensive lineman, to a tight end, to not high-profile running back or a high-profile wide receiver. Those memories as a team, they're cherished forever. To me, it's become a greed thing with the money, and it's become an ego thing from a player like these Oregon running backs that announced this week they're entering the transfer portal, and they're going to leave their teams high and dry possibly during the playoffs. These guys have worked 3, 4, 5, some of these seniors 5 and 6 years to play football, to have a chance on a championship run. And some of these star players, wide receivers, running backs, are transferring out during championship week. Now, to me, that's just not fair to your teammates, okay? The Lane Kiffin thing, same thing. I've stated that. I've made my case on that. I've said how I feel about Lane Kiffin leaving, Ole Miss in the playoffs. And great, he got paid $500,000 from LSU because of Ole Miss winning. Great for him. But you know what? Coach, what are you saying to 19, 20-year-old players that have worked their guts out for you and you walk away from them to go chase a dollar? And to me, I get it. It's a move up for him to go to LSU. But what happened to the old school guys that want to make a difference and make their own stake? He had a better chance, I think, because he won't last at LSU. He won't. If he don't win at LSU, he's going to be out. This guy had a chance to make and start a legacy at Ole Miss. Ole Miss has come a long, long way. And to walk away from that school, those players, is just as bad as these Oregon running backs walking away from their team in the playoffs. So to me, that's how I view the portal. I think the NCAA, I think anybody that's got anything to do with college football that has a chance to have a voice in this portal, transfer portal, it needs to change. It needs to get moved back. It needs to get moved later in the spring, around draft time, as far as I'm concerned. But to do this during playoffs, to do this during this time of year, I think it's not fair to the fans. I don't think it's fair to the school, and I damn sure don't think it's fair to your teammates. So that's Jimbo's take on the transfer portal. And there's so much going on in the transfer portal now with all the money flying around. I mean, last year, you could kind of keep track of it on a cheat sheet. Shit, you better have a goddamn IBM computer in a spreadsheet and to try to keep track of this. It's funny, in the in our Devy leagues, some of these guys, they're trying to keep track of where these guys are at on the transfer portal. They're putting them in as nicknames in transfer portal, transferred here, transferred there, just so they can keep track of it on our Devy leagues. It's crazy to try to figure out where these guys are going to end up, where they're going. Portal, I'm not a big fan of it happening this time of year. I'm kind of in the Nick Saban camp on that. So we'll see where it ends up. We'll see who goes where. Oh, update for those of you like me. As you can see in the background, I am a Bulls fan down here in Tampa. Byron Brown did go to Auburn and followed his ex-head coach, and that's where he ended up. So, I wish the best for him. It's definitely an upgrade for him. We'll see how he plays with some of those people. It's kind of a move up. So we'll see how he does. He's a great athlete, great quarterback. Looking forward to getting him in the NFL. I have him in a ton of my Devy leagues. So I will be looking forward to that. One thing we can talk about, if you guys want, this is going to be coming up shortly. It's going to start blasting the airwaves with all these mock drafts for the rookies. For the rookies this year. Mendoza is definitely looking like he's going to probably be the overall number one, especially with the Raiders looking for a quarterback. Raiders have the number one pick. And we'll see where that goes. Deontay Moore. Do the Jets go quarterback? I don't know. This is just somebody's play on this. I can't even tell who it was, but I threw this down there. Moore's looking like he could possibly be the number two. One kid that I am definitely looking at on this list is the number 3. This David Bailey from Texas Tech defense. This kid can play football. I don't know if you guys watched him last week, but he is athletic. This kid can jump. I think he had like 2 or 3 batted down balls in that game last week. I would love to see the Bucs be able to get this kid. I don't think he'll make. I think the Bucs are going to end up like 14th, 15th pick maybe. And I would love to see this kid on the Tampa Bay Bucs next year. We'll see, but he definitely is probably, in my book, the best defensive player in the draft. Where he ends up, we'll see. But he is a beast. He's fast. He's quick. He's agile. He's a big guy. So defensive wise, I'd like to see him. The other one that I really like to see where he ends up is Lemon from USC. I think he's way better than Tate from Ohio State, going ahead of Lemon. I don't think that will be the case in the draft. And then, of course, Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, the running back who's been thought at and talked about being better than Genti. I don't know if I would go that far. However, he is a solid, durable, all-purpose running back. This guy could definitely be a workhorse in somebody's offense in the NFL. So I'm looking forward to seeing where he ends up in the draft. I I don't know. The Tennessee Titans definitely have to address their offensive line. The Giants did great. Where they ended up last year in the draft, the Giants, and you look at it now, how it's played out. Even with Jackson Dart spending as much time as he does in the blue tent, I think he's going to get it. I don't care if the Giants have to put it in his contract that he better start sliding. I don't know. I don't think you're going to get him to calm down right away. But Scattaboo, the glimpses we saw of him before he got hurt this year, Neighbors coming back off from ACL, we'll see. But to me, the Giants have some young players, some great athletes on defense. They get themselves a nice DB cornerback, maybe another linebacker. I think the Giants should go defense. And I think the Giants, with the right coaching, we'll see how that ends up. But I think the Giants have a good chance of being a good football team next year. So we'll see how that goes. Some other things that are going on. I know you guys have followed, the guys on the app have been following our parodies. We're finishing up our Dollsville parodies. They're just about done. I think we've got 2 more left out of that series of 6. So those are going to be finishing up, but here's our new one. So check this out. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me where you think it's going. And, but yeah, this is going to be the characters of our next parody that we're doing. And we'll get you the name of it. We're going to get you the characters. We're going to get you in tune with that. And you'll be able to view our new parody coming out probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We got to finish up with the other ones. But this is kind of a quick glimpse, a quick indication of where we're headed with this. And I'll be interested to see your comments on where you think this one's going. I know some of you probably already have a pretty good idea. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about your fantasy leagues. We're going to talk about, I want to talk about dynasty leagues in particular, and then I want to backside that with Debbie dynasties, okay? So for those of you that are commissioners, I know you got your hands full right now. You're trying to get the payouts done. You're trying to get the leagues rolled over. You're trying to get League Safe rolled over. And you're trying to retain your league mates, your players, your managers. And you got all these guys dipping in, dipping out, saying they're leaving, saying, oh, I got, this reason, that reason, and the other reason. So throw down in chat to me if you're a commissioner or if you're just a league manager, player. Tell me what you think the number one reason guys leave dynasty leagues. What's their number one excuse of why they leave dynasty leagues? And we'll kind of come back to that. But so orphans, you got your dynasty leagues, and we all deal as commissioners and players of trying to fill these orphan leagues because you got guys leaving for whatever reasons they leave. You got chat disputes where you got commissioners booting people, removing people. You got commissioners that are fed up with dealing with all the bullshit in their leagues. And so they just say, we're going to nuke the league. And then you got, for those of you that know what Empire leagues are and are in Empire leagues, we're going to talk a little bit about Empire for a second because I'm in one that is getting, that is going to turn into a redraft. So thank God I didn't have a lot. It's a very high money league. And thank God I didn't have a lot of draft picks because this particular league does not allow you to carry over your draft picks in the redraft portion of when it blows up because of the Empire. The guy won it, I think, 2 years in a row. This league is. So in this league, some of them are 3 years. If you win it in a row, you win the Empire money pot. This one happened to be 2, and kind of bums me out because I finished second in this league. And if all my players would have played, Devontae Adams for one. I had, Jared Goff shit the bed. Jahmyr Gibbs shit the bed. So, I ended up losing by like 4 points, I think. Finished second. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in a redraft. And so I'm not looking forward to losing the players on this team. And in Empire, they start over and do a redraft. I'm excited for the redraft, just not in this league. I love drafting. That's part of the reason I play fantasy football is I love to draft. So Empire League guys, one thing I would advise you on if you're in Empire Dynasty, don't stock up on draft picks don't do a lot of trading that year if the guy that won last year looks like he's headed towards another win, because look at your rules. Make sure whether they carry over your draft picks or not, because you could get screwed out of your draft picks. So every league's different. Every commissioner, the rules are different based on what league you're in. So, make sure you look into that if you're in an Empire League. All right. So now my feelings on how these guys dump dynasties. Okay. If you look at the average years that a dynasty survives, average is 3 years before it blows up, before they nuke it, before they get tired of the orphans, before, and after, whatever you want to say. Average years, longevity of a dynasty league is 3 years before it's gone. I'm in some that are 12 years old. I'm in some that are 7 years old, 8 years old. I'm in some that are 3 and 4 years old. And I noticed this year a lot of guys are players that, to be honest with you, are like guys that either picked up an orphan and didn't quite do well, or in a startup from last year. You got these guys that say, and here it is, guys, the biggest reason that I hear, I got too many leagues. I got to cut back. I got too many leagues. I got to cut back. I got a kid coming. Too many leagues. I can't keep up with it. Well, you know what? If you can't keep up with it, don't join a goddamn dynasty league. Go join a best ball league. Go join a redraft league, because 90% of these guys are guys that play in $25, $30 leagues, and they're usually, I don't want to say rookies, but 1-2 years playing dynasty, and their team wasn't all that great, and they really just don't give a shit, and I got too many leagues. I got to cut back. I hate that. For guys that spend time trying to build a dynasty by either giving up good players, going for draft picks, trying to wait for it to all happen and all come together, it's not fair to them, for one thing. Okay. And then the that is, okay, so we got an orphan. All right, so a lot of us been playing dynasty a long time. We know a lot of people, and it's usually not that hard to fill a dynasty or orphan league, right? But when you start getting 2 and 3, it starts discouraging commissioners. And these commissioners, this is the other scary part. For a guy that has invested all this time into trying to build a dynasty team, and you get a commissioner jump in there and say, oh, we're going to nuke the league. We're going to nuke the league. What? You're going to nuke the dynasty league. And better yet, the worst ones that I don't agree with is we're going to nuke a Devi dynasty? Seriously? You're going to nuke a Devi dynasty league. To me, I don't care how much the league fees are. I don't care if you have 3-4 people. This time of year, you don't nuke a Devi dynasty league. So you take the time, you give the players that have put in the time, the people that have been loyal, there's that word again, loyalty. That's going to be a very key word tonight, guys. We're going to touch on loyalty a little bit later. Another one of those things, Jimbo's don't do it thing, coming up a little later. Loyalty is a big word. Big word in football, big word in a locker room, big word in fantasy football, big word in life, big word in friendships. Loyalty. Anyways, so that's how I feel about our dynasty leagues. For guys that are a little iffy, guys that really don't know if dynasty's for you, go play redraft. Because you know what? After the year's over, if you don't want to play because you're too busy or you have too many $10 leagues or too many $20 leagues, try this. Join a $100 league where you got to pay 3 years up front, and let me know if you quit that one. Why do you think some of these guys are doing that in these leagues? They're raising the stakes so that people don't just walk away. Why do you think these commissioners are keeping your money when you quit and don't give you a refund when you quit? Because they're the ones that are stuck holding the bag. The players in the league are the ones stuck holding the bag to fill these leagues. In this time of year is when all this shit starts going down, all these guys quitting. Think about your league mates. Think about that. And if you're the type of guy that's too busy, got a baby coming, got every excuse under the sun. Had no football coach once used to tell us excuses are for losers. So if you got too many dynasty leagues, tough shit. Keep your commitments in a dynasty. Quit the other ones. Don't scratch your itch during draft time and spend another $20 just to spend it. If you're going to do that, spend it on a best ball league redraft. Spend it on a redraft. Spend it on a collective league where you're going to lose your money anyway. So that's how I feel about that. I feel sorry for all you commissioners that are going through this right now. It's a tough time. You're dealing with all the issues. I'm making decisions and doing the best thing for the integrity of the league. That's a big thing in Dynasty as we talk about integrity of the leagues. So think about that before you just up and quit and leave a dynasty league. That's my view on that. We know my view on collective leagues. Collective leagues, bracket leagues, all that stuff. You guys know how I feel about that. Just a quick note. We have some, we did some research. We did some research off some league safe information that has come from different players throughout the whole United States. We sent out on the app with some of the guys, some of the members, and we asked them to give us some screenshots of their payouts on their collective leagues. And we're talking collective leagues that are made up of 25, 50, 100 players. And the amount of money that some of these commissioners are raking will blow your mind. Some of the excuses, some of the things they show they spend the money on would blow your mind. However, if you're into those type of leagues and you enjoy them, continue to play them, okay? If you truly enjoy it. But know what you're getting into, guys, because there's a lot of players that have come to us on the app saying, man, I didn't know that's the way it went down. I didn't know this is the way it went down. I didn't feel like reading 3 pages of documents that is in print this big just to play fantasy football. If you see a league that has all these bylaws and all these rules that are this big and it's 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs long, and it's not hand typed like texting type, don't play. If these guys sat down and took the time to put together this computer-generated bylaw sheet that's 3 pages long. It has all these different things. Don't play because they're going to take your money. Okay? They have every loophole put in there to take your money. And yes, they pay out. And yes, there is some big money winners. There is. Okay? Guys winning $1,000, $2,000. But the odds guys are low. Low. If you enjoy playing them, play it. My recommendation is you don't. And it's not because I want you not to have fun. It's not because I think they're trying to take your money, purposely take money from you. They're doing it as a side job. They're doing it as an income. They're doing it to make $500, $600, $700, $800, $900, $1,000 off of leagues, multiple leagues, collective leagues, so that at the end of the week, the end of the year, they get a check. Now, granted, I've been on both sides of the fence on how much time, how much effort, and how much bullshit is involved in commissioning that many leagues. Okay? Now, I know a lot of people tell me, oh, don't talk about Ballsville. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk about Ballsville a little bit. First of all, I'm going to apologize on air to Sarah at Ballsville for calling you a name on air. I was upset. I was mad. I do apologize for that. I don't regret it because Jimbo's doesn't regret too much that I do in life. However, I am sorry for some of the things I've done and said. And Sarah, I owe you an apology. And just like on air, I called you a name. I apologize for that. Okay? And that is a sincere apology. Secondly, with Ballsville, because I don't have all these talking heads in my ears anymore, because I elected to take out the trash, but Alex Westlax, probably in some regards, the best commissioner I've ever been involved with. On the other hand, Alex and I have had several disagreements at Ballsville. Okay? But I will tell you this, and you know me from day one, I have always give credit where credit is due. That man works probably the hardest as a commissioner than anyone I've ever met or ever been in touch with. However, some of the other things in those leagues I don't agree with. And that's my opinion, just like I've stated in chat rooms throughout the year. It's my opinion, and I have the right to that. But I also give credit where credit is due. And while we're talking about commissioners and while we're talking about how things are done, nobody puts in more time than him. Nobody. So from that standpoint, Alex, kudos to you. Had a great time at Ballsville. The leagues are over. Had a great year there. Had some down times, had some bad times. But you know what? It's life, and that's the way it is. And we're moving on. We're going to coexist. And we're going to move into next year, 2026. And I wish you guys all the best of luck wherever you do decide to spend your money and play fantasy football. Because that's the thing. We all enjoy fantasy football. We all are addicted to drafting. We all are addicted to drafting. Scratch that itch. It's getting ready to start happening. Where do I want to go next? I think that's just about wrapping it up. Let me check my notes. I don't really have a Jimbo's hot take. I'd like to kind of give you guys one. Just a little kind of update with me. Been, and I don't like to give excuses either, but it's been really busy. My job, we in the construction world, we change job sites. We finish up this job here, we move there. And the construction company I work for is basically statewide. We do a little bit of northern Georgia, a little bit of Alabama, but for the most part, we're in the state of Florida. But we're all over the place. And we just moved job sites for me, so it's like a 3-hour drive one way. And they put us up in motels if we want, but I'm just too old for that shit. And I don't really want to spend the night in a motel. I like my dog. I like my wife. I like my house. Got a podcast. So got a lot of stuff going on in Tampa Bay with the media and all that stuff. But anyway, so my job, I'm spending a little more driving time. So like today, I had to leave work a little early just so I get home and do the podcast. So my drive's a little bit longer. Haven't had a whole lot of time to do this, that, or the other. So we're moving along. Just some updates real fast too. The app is going good. We talked about the parodies. They're going good. Breaking ground on that, having a lot of fun. The parodies have been a huge hit for the truck drivers. They really like it. So anyways, that's where we're at. And I'm going to go ahead and do the Jimbo's Don't Do It thing, because I always do, because you know me, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. However you want to say it, I tell the truth. I tell it how it is. And I know there's people watching this show tonight because they've just been dying to wait till I say something. So we're going to talk a little bit about the refrigerator. How many of you guys got a refrigerator? Everybody got a refrigerator, right? You don't live out of a cooler. You got a refrigerator, right? So this is kind of how I'm going to lead into this. You know what it's like when your mom or your grandma or your wife, or if you're a big-time cook like me, yourself, making one of the best meals. Man, you loved it. It tastes so good. And you got leftovers, right? What do you do with it? You put it in the fridge, right? Because you loved it. It was good. You're going to have that again. Now, I'm not a big leftovers guy. My wife is, on the other hand. But leftovers in the refrigerator. So we're going to eat it, right? We're going to eat it. It was good. Spent a lot of time making that, Mom. That was a great meal. Best meal you made in years. We put it in the fridge. Well, all of a sudden this week ends and you nibbled on it a little bit, had some back and forth with that great meal. It was really good, right? So you put it back in the fridge again. And now it's time to get some more groceries. The wife brought home something, brought home a pizza, brought home some Popeyes. Now all of a sudden that leftovers is kind of not right up front, right? For whatever reason, not a big thing in your life right now. They're busy. They don't want to talk about it right now. They want to wait till later in the year. Well, you don't know what people are going to say about those leftovers that come over. So we're not going to eat that tonight. I'll save that for me. Mom will eat it. The wife will eat it. Not something you pull out of the fridge and share with a friend, right? So you kind of push it back in the fridge a little bit further. Well, now, shit, forgot it was there. 2 weeks go by. Every time you open the fridge, you start smelling something. What the hell is that? What's that smell? Something smelling. Well, I don't know. I look around, pick up the pizza box the wife put in there, pick up the Popeyes box, the Egg McMuffin from McDonald's bag stuffed in there. And, well, shit, now we've even gotten some more groceries, little eggs in there. Pretty soon those leftovers we put in there 2 weeks ago are all the way in the back of the room. Still love it. It was great. Sooner or later you say, you know what? I'm tired of the smell every time I open this goddamn refrigerator. So it's time to take out the trash. Right? So you pull everything out and you throw it all in the garbage can and you take out the trash. Last week, Jimbo's took out the trash. It's gone now. So I don't have to hear your excuses. I don't have to hear your fake promises. And you know what? I don't need your fucking fake friendship. Peace. Jimbo's out.